So, after basically almost 2 years since that announcement video happened and no news whatsoever, Nintendo finally revealed the truth about the state of Metroid Prime 4's development.
Well, 2 years have passed, and we aren't satisfied with the game. Retro Studios, come here.
First off, hats off to the developers for actually being honest with their fans. Not something we see much of these days. I do believe it is a good thing. On a marketing or PR point of view, this definitely increased the hype for the game, even if, let's be real here, the game won't be released at least until 2022 or 2023. Damn, just as a note, it feels weird to talk about the 2020s. It feels like the future, but, well, it's like just around the corner. Time is fast, huh? Either way, where I and many others have questioned the current state of Metroid Prime 4's development is how many members of the original team that made the trilogy are actually still present in today's Retro Studios. After all, just as a reminder, Metroid Prime 3 was released in 2007, 12 years ago. Indeed, within that time frame, it is logical that the people within the company have changed, in which case, what does it mean for the game? Luckily for us, that research has already been done. There's an article on IGN detailing who among the major figures of the team have left Retro Studios and who stayed. And as suspected, most of those people did leave. This includes members such as Mark Pacini, the former game director, and Todd Keller, the former art director, among many others. This already means that a lot of the original trilogy's major influencers are gone. However, don't make this feel you hopeless, because there are important ones that did stay. This includes the president of Retro Studios himself, Michael Kelboff? Kelboff? So, Michael Kelboff, who was there during the days of Metroid Prime 2 and 3, meaning that surely he must have an idea of how his company should handle Metroid Prime 4. And very importantly, Kensuke Tanabe, the Metroid Prime series producer. This is good news, because this can at least reassure us on one thing, which is that we know that this game should follow well on the vision of what the Metroid Prime game should be. We know we have someone who knows what Metroid Prime is, and I mean not on a superficial level. I'm also very tempted to say that this would be bad considering he also was involved with Metroid Prime Federation Force, which, well, you know, let's just briefly say that it was not popular. However, I personally would argue that if one, Tanabe decided to work again with Retro Studios, considering there used to be issues, and just as a whole, combined with the whole restarting the development over aspect of things, this would imply he most likely learned from his mistakes. Or at least, I hope so. Do not get me wrong, I do not mean that the previous team would have done a bad job. The point is that we can tell through such actions that Nintendo cares about delivering high quality games, even if it means a delay and not a small one at that. Metroid Prime 4 is definitely not the first case for this. There was Breath of the Wild a few years ago that was supposed to release in 2015, but that was then delayed until 2017. Another example would be The Last Guardian, which also took many years of development because they wanted to make sure that the final product would be of the highest quality it could become. And this philosophy, to me at least, is gaming at its best, when you can tell that the developers poured their hearts into the game and just want something that is amazing for players. Now I would like to address a few things. I've seen people say negatively the fact that Retro Studios is the main developer now of Metroid Prime 4 as a sort of malevolent PR move, which is something I don't really understand because, of course, it is a PR move. This entire video, this entire thing is a PR move, and I think it's obvious that Nintendo knows that specifically saying that Retro Studios and Kensuke Tanabe are on board would make people excited, myself included. It's just being informative with us, because what else could they have done? They could have taken the easy option, which would have been to just keep going with the current state of things and rush the game out. Or they could have just told us, also very easily, that the game was going fine, even with all this drama behind. Would this really have been the right option? It doesn't mean that they've told us everything. We still don't know what exactly went on behind the scenes for Nintendo to decide to go with this decision in the first place, for example. There are some rumors that do talk about what happened, but this is nothing that is confirmed. And until then, because of that, we can't really say for sure why. Obviously, they will not reveal everything, but they tell us enough to reassure us, and to me, I do believe they said the right thing. Of course, it would have been much better if this whole delay never had to happen in the first place. While the rumors say that previous development was a mess, it would have been a lot better if this whole situation never happened. However, in a timeline where the development of this game potentially could have gone to hell, again considering this is just a rumor, then I reckon that we are in the best of possibilities. Just like many other games, they could easily have taken the option to just keep going and rush it for their planned release date. People will be excited and most likely realize that it would perhaps just maybe not be good. They could have gone still with the option that they did go with, which is to restart the development, but say nothing. People would just wait and wait and wait for the game and never have any news, not really knowing what is going on. For that matter, just take a look at Pikmin 4, where we were told that the game was finished in 2015 and yet nothing. We know nothing about the state of this game. So perhaps, due to that, the news that Retro Studios is at the helm of development is perhaps the best news we could have received considering the current events. So, considering all of the changes within the company, it is impossible to guarantee that we would get something exactly as how Retro Studios would have done it 10 years ago. But what we can at least know for sure about this game is that it will have care poured into it, and not a little amount of that. It will have taken around 15 years at the end, but we will finally get, most likely, something hopefully worthy of being a sequel to that amazing trilogy. Please Nintendo, Metroid Prime Trilogy HD. It's the perfect moment. We know you can, Nintendo. We'll be waiting.